Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Trade Ideas Live Trading Room recap for, what is it now, Wednesday, July the 20th. My name is Barry Anderson. I'm the moderator of our trading room. This is the address to get in. It is a free room. You do not have to be a member of Trade Ideas to participate. I share my screen all day long, and I am live on the mic between 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And if you want to take out a subscription to Trade Ideas, you can use this link. And the code to use, the promo code to use, is Key to Drive. That's Key, the number 2, and Drive, Drive, Key to Drive, all in capital letters. And just so you know, that promo code will get you the $1,888 that you would normally spend for the entire year for Trade Ideas, which includes our premium, in other words, TI premium. You can get it for $1,500. All right, well, first of all, this was a sensational day for me personally. OPTT. It's funny, the day started off rather ominously. For those of you who know, we use the Omnovia platform, and it kept crashing on me. So I really didn't get it running until about 10 minutes after the market. Couldn't get the screen sharing going, and I couldn't get a lot of the audio was kicking in and out. So did not start very well. But OPTT absolutely was a sensational, sensational trade. So let me just go over this one. Now, first of all, OPTT was one, of course. I shouldn't say of course, but if you're not trading on a daily basis, you might not know this, but this is what happened with this one yesterday. A lot of people got in around 6, and look at it, got all the way almost to $10. All right. So this was, and it's been an incredibly active stock. I mean, it all got started at $1.59 way back on. Let's see, looks like June the 1st, hit 684, and then you have this big, big, big decline. I'm sure most people thought, okay, that's it, no more. Wrong. Look what's happened. That nice little base that was put in at 245. A couple of little. This to me was a very key. Notice this is sort of what the inside red bar here. So again, this was the day. Sorry, my mouse is just lagging a little bit. Bear with me just a second. Okay. So again, this was yesterday's bar, and so when you see this, you see, okay, this bar is it's basically covering this previous red bar. I had this then, of course, I had this on my watch list as something I wanted to watch, and I even said in the pre-market that it just looked like it was holding 8. This is the pre-market action right there. So then it popped. Now, it was a little ticked off. Again, I was running through, had all those problems with Omnovia. Ticked off, missed it. However, popped up again, and I know a lot of people were probably waiting to see if it could get through $12. Look at what happened right there. It got, I think, just up to it might be 12 or 11.97, something like that. So I started watching this like a hawk right here, and notice this pattern that's starting to form. Now, forget that this is OPTT. Why? And the other reason is why this is moving up like it is. It has such a ridiculously low float, 1.76 million shares in the float. And again, I know it sounds like a broken record, but this is why these sort of stocks have moves like this, because there's very few shares that, in theory, are available to be traded, and when there is a very short supply, and there's a huge demand. So it's like anything else, people are just bidding the heck out of it. They want it, and they just bid their price up. The crazy thing is that it's traded 19 million shares, so we're talking maybe about 15 times the float has traded. So the float has turned over about 15 times today. So just insane action. But that's why, because it's low floaters, a low float, and that's why we impress upon people that if you come into the room, watch this like a hawk. This low floaters on the move right off the bat in the morning. That's when we usually see these astonishing rises. So anyway, I digress a little bit here. So looking at this action here, and again, this is a 15-minute chart. So this was pretty whippy. I mean, the high, say, almost $12, all the way down to 10.75. A lot of people might have thought, well, I guess that's over. It's had its pop, and now it's really going to give it up. But look at the bottoming tails here. Look at these tails here on the candles. So think about what is happening here. The sellers are really trying to drive drive it down. Anybody who bought here is probably getting really worried and saying, "Oh my gosh, I better get out." So they're all driving it down, and not so fast. The buyers do take over and close it here. Now, the same thing starts to happen, okay? Now, it opened here, all right? It opened there lower, and here's the tail, the bottoming tail. Same thing. You might think, okay, they didn't, sellers, the buyers took over a little bit here, but now the sellers are again taking it over. Not so fast. They took over and it actually closed up here. That's why we have a green candle. Now, the next candle, kind of what we call a doji, uncertainty. It basically opened and closed around the same price. A little bit uncertainty going on right now. What is the direction that it's going to take? And all of a sudden we get this candle. So when I was watching this, and I like everybody else, I'm wondering, is it going to break $12? Well, as this was happening, I got into the stock at 11.98. I figured, you know what? I think it's worth it. Probably, put my stop at the bottom here, so it's going to be a fairly wide stop. Though it may have been earlier, but believe me, if it had just dropped immediately, I probably would have got out and then waited again. However, bottom line is this: this was just a sensational trade. I traded a lot, out in various levels. I actually took a very quick little bit at 12.17, just in case it was going to drop down below 12. Didn't happen. Got out some more at 12.50, and then this massive move, 13.68, 14.54. It spiked all the way up to 15.65. It didn't get out here. It really dropped fairly quickly, and got out the last bit just as it broke under 14. But just a fantastic trade, and just a matter of everybody in the room was watching it. I was I don't know how many times I said, watch OPTT, watch OPTT. And so this was the pattern that really made it for me. Now, the other one I'm in is this HTBX. I resisted taking the profit, the sure profit right here. This was a Holly trade. Holly, the alert was at, see where the alert was. Bear with me 1 second. Why can't I see? Oh, there it is. There was the alert at 81 cents. Now, I'm not going to go over it. We have a lot of Holly trades, okay, and basically a lot were triggered very quickly at the beginning of the day. But the bottom line for me was I, of course, had to keep watching OPTT. So I really didn't pay that much attention to Holly today, but we have a lot of open positions. When I get back to the room, I will start to watch the risk off profit. And just see if something is going to pop. Again, things like this beta, the profit is at 42 cents. However, it's still 6 cents above that exit, so it might still have some room. So I'm going to start watching this column when I get back into the room. But HTBX, the alert was at 81 cents. This is one that I have been watching for quite a while. So I'm in at 6 cents, so I'm a little bit underwater on this. There's a possibility that I am going to, I don't know why this popped up here. Okay, let me just cover that up. There's a possibility that I will swing this trade. I'm in at 86 cents. I resisted the urge to trade some out at 92. But if you look at the time frame here on the daily chart, you might see, I'm going to back this out quite a bit. You're going to see that, let's get today's candle. There we go. There's today's candle. So you can see that if we get a dollar break on this, up here, there is some resistance here, but on, what day was this? This was on March the 17th. It had a big spike up to 252. I'm not saying this is going to happen, but it appears that it is maybe getting going. You see this candle here yesterday, this candle today. I would like to see it close obviously in the 90s. That'll give people the confidence that when they see this sort of action tomorrow, people who aren't in this stock right now, who may have never heard of this stock, but if they're doing some evening work and this could possibly show up on a big percentage gainer. I know it's under $1, but it's also a low floater, 13.5 million in the float, so it's a relatively low floater. And so if this can close in this area, this might give people the confidence to really take a look at it tomorrow, and especially if it pops over a dollar, people will look at this. This is all that people are looking at. I have no idea what this company does. I mean, I'm sure it's a small bio, but all people are going to really look at is, wow, what if it can do something like this again? Even if it did half of that, that'd be wonderful. So that's my thinking about perhaps holding it as a swing. And if it went under 80, I might have to give it some pause and maybe get out of it. But and always get back in. I can always get back into the trade. Especially if maybe I wait for that dollar break to be a little more, bit more of a confirmation. So I lose a bit of the initial move, but I'm telling you, if it breaks a dollar, we could have a great move in this. So anyway, that's basically. What else? I did take a little of that XNY early also. Another one of those crazy low floaters. On this, not here, let's get to the 15-minute chart. XNY has 3 million in the float. Got in here quickly. Got in at 207, sold some at 217, and it immediately came right back down. Took a loss on the second part, basically flat. I took 10 cents on the first part and lost 10 cents on the second part. So we'll see what happens tomorrow, though. Again, this is another one. Look at this action. People look at this and say, "Wow, I mean, it went to 366 not that long ago." So maybe this was just the test. Maybe tomorrow, if it breaks this level, it's very possible that it could it could start challenging that. Let's take a look at the daily on this one. Yeah, so I mean, we don't like to see that topping tail. Remember, I was talking about the bottoming tails that we like to see. Obviously, the reverse is true. We don't like to see these topping tails if you're certainly if you're long a stock, because what's happening is the buyers took this up, but the sellers knocked it right back down. So, but I will watch this one for a 2 break, because there's this thing could go up to 366 in a heartbeat. Like, I remember that day it did it, and it came right back down. So that's why you have to be very, very careful with these low floaters. These are not things that you cannot just buy it and then go for lunch for a couple hours and come back and expect to wish and hope that it's up in this level. So you get into these low floaters, you really have to monitor them closely. All right, well, rambled on a little bit. I want to get back to the room. So thanks very much for listening. Again, this is the link to get into the room. I usually open the room at about 8:45. That's when we start doing our pre-market prepping. A lot of times we're already going to be identifying some of the low floaters that are moving in the pre-market, and that might be setting up for an instant move once the market opens. So good idea to join us at around 8:45. That's when I start sharing my screen, and then I get live on the mic between 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. Eastern. So thanks very much for listening. And again, in the body of this, in the YouTube video, not in the video itself, obviously, but in the text, you'll see that promo code again if you want to take out a subscription. So again, thanks for listening, and I hope to see you in our trading room tomorrow. Bye-bye.